Review: The Greatest Game Ever Played, 2005. A stirring tale of dreams, determination, and overcoming class boundaries. In the world of underdog stories, The Greatest Game Ever Played stands as a remarkable testament to courage, resilience, and the sheer joy of defying expectations. Directed by Bill Paxton, this 2005 film stars Shia LaBeouf as Francis Ouimet, a young golfer with immense talent and a drive that transcends the rigid class divisions of early 20th century America. Based on the true story of Ouimet's journey to the 1913 US Open, the film captures the intense pressure of competitive sports, the tension of societal limits, and the charm of relationships that make life richer, even if it's not easy. Paxton's directorial touch is masterful here, blending humor, emotion, and tension into a story that resonates with audiences of all ages. LaBeouf's portrayal of Francis is both earnest and understated, making him a character we root for wholeheartedly. Supporting performances by Stephen Delane as British golf champion Harry Vardon and young Josh Flitter as Francis's caddie, Eddie Lowery, add dimension and depth, especially as the film weaves humor and camaraderie with intense competitive spirit. The Greatest Game Ever Played takes us back to 1913, a time when the world of sports, and golf in particular, was exclusive, a pastime and profession reserved for the wealthy. Born to a poor immigrant family in Brookline, Massachusetts, Francis Ouimet is, by all accounts, an outsider in a sport dominated by the upper class. Living just across the street from the Country Club, a prestigious golf club, Francis grows up watching the well-to-do stroll the greens, developing a fascination with the game that transcends his social standing. Despite his father Arthur's constant reminders to stick to his station, Francis is determined. He practices his swing in secret, using every spare moment to hone his skill, his heart already set on competing someday. The film introduces this tension early on, pulling us into the emotional turmoil Francis faces. His love for golf conflicts with his family's financial struggles, and his father's resentment looms over him like a dark cloud. The socio-economic divide is evident in every interaction Francis has with the club members, many of whom regard him as a mere caddie, a servant in their privileged domain. This setting establishes a backdrop of quiet frustration and anger, simmering beneath the surface. Every time Francis is dismissed or belittled, we feel his pain, his humiliation, and his mounting determination to prove them all wrong. It's the kind of grit that makes your heart swell with pride, even as it aches with sympathy for the obstacles he faces. Francis is a character who wears his heart on his sleeve. Shia LaBeouf brings an intensity to the role that feels both genuine and raw, portraying a young man torn between a love for golf and the harsh realities of his social standing. This internal conflict plays out beautifully on screen as we watch Francis wrestle with doubts, family expectations, and society's dismissal of his dreams. Throughout the film, Francis is driven by a powerful combination of hope and frustration. His father, Arthur, played by Elias Koteas, is a hard man, weary from a life of labor and the belief that dreams are luxuries only the rich can afford. For Arthur, golf is nothing but a fool's errand, an impractical pursuit that distracts from the business of surviving. The anger simmering in Arthur's eyes every time he talks to Francis is palpable, and it's clear that his disapproval comes from a place of protective pragmatism. He fears that Francis's dreams will only lead to disappointment, and he'd rather see his son secure a stable, respectable job. Mary Ouimet, Francis's mother, is the soft counterbalance to Arthur's cynicism. She's quietly supportive, watching her son's struggles and dreams with a mix of worry and pride. While she rarely openly defies Arthur, there's a subtle encouragement in her gaze, a warmth that tells Francis she believes in him, even if she can't say it aloud. Mary's presence is a balm amid the tension, a gentle reminder that, while life may be tough, there are those who love and believe in him. Her love is understated, yet deeply moving, adding an emotional layer that keeps Francis grounded. Then there's Sarah Wallace, Francis's love interest. Sarah represents a world of acceptance and understanding that Francis desperately craves. Coming from a more privileged background, she doesn't judge him by his social standing or discourage his aspirations. Her encouragement offers him a sweet reprieve from the pressures around him, showing him that his dreams are worth fighting for. Their romance is tender and understated, a reminder of the simple joys that come with genuine connection and mutual respect. On the other side of the Atlantic, we meet Harry Vardon, a British golf champion whose calm and collected demeanour hides a history of hardship. Played by Stephen Delane, Vardon's journey to the top wasn't without its own struggles. He too grew up poor, and though he's achieved fame, the stigma of his working-class roots still haunts him. The film draws poignant parallels between Harry and Francis, highlighting the shared pain of being seen as less than in a world that values wealth over talent. Harry's interactions with Francis are fascinating because they're marked by both rivalry and mutual respect. Vardon sees something of his younger self in Francis, a reminder of the ambition and fire that drove him years ago. He may be the reigning champion, but he knows all too well the feeling of wanting to prove oneself in a world that sees you as an outsider. Their rivalry, far from being antagonistic, is layered with unspoken understanding and empathy, making it one of the most compelling dynamics in the film. And now we come to Eddie Lowery, Francis's 10-year-old caddie, who steals the show with his quick wit and unshakable loyalty. Played by Josh Flitter, Eddie is more than just a sidekick. He's a friend, a motivator, and a much-needed source of comic relief. His one-liners and blunt observations bring a lightness to the story, especially when the pressure becomes almost unbearable. Picture this. Francis is about to make the most important shot of his life, and Eddie, with all the wisdom of a boy who likely still has a bedtime, says something like, "No pressure, right?" It's moments like these that make Eddie's presence invaluable. Eddie's humor isn't just for laughs, it's a testament to his unwavering faith in Francis. He's the one person who never doubts Francis's abilities, treating him not as an underdog, but as a champion in the making. Their banter and camaraderie are heartwarming, reminding us that sometimes the most powerful motivators come in the smallest packages. Eddie's role is a brilliant touch, making the film not just a story of grit and determination, but one of friendship and the importance of having someone who believes in you unconditionally. The final tournament, a symphony of emotion, suspense, and triumph. As we approach the climax of the film, the stakes reach a fever pitch. The 1913 US Open is a battleground, and every swing of the club feels like a life-or-death moment. Francis is pitted against not only Harry Vardon, but also the expectations and prejudices of everyone watching. The tournament scenes are expertly crafted, filled with tension and suspense that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Every shot, every putt, every close-up of Francis's face as he wrestles with nerves and self-doubt is a masterclass in storytelling. Eddie's presence is a lifeline in these scenes. Just as the pressure seems unbearable, Eddie's sarcastic quips break through the tension, reminding us, and Francis, to take a deep breath and keep going. His humor is a lifeline, grounding Francis in the moment and giving him the courage to push forward. It's a beautiful portrayal of friendship, one that feels authentic and unforced. When Francis finally triumphs, the emotion is overwhelming. It's not just a victory for him, it's a win for everyone who's ever been told they're not good enough, that their dreams are out of reach. The relief, the joy, the sense of accomplishment, it all culminates in a moment that leaves you feeling uplifted and inspired. Francis's victory isn't just a personal achievement. It's a testament to the power of perseverance and the unbreakable spirit of the underdog. One of the most compelling aspects of the greatest game ever played is its exploration of class and social barriers. Francis's journey is as much about challenging societal expectations as it is about golf. Every sneer from the club members, every moment of condescension serves as a reminder of the rigid class structure he's up against. It's frustrating, even infuriating, to see the disdain with which he's treated, and this sense of injustice only fuels our desire to see him succeed. The film also speaks to the importance of dreams, even in the face of adversity. Arthur's cynicism, while understandable, represents a common perspective, one that sees dreams as luxuries reserved for the privileged. But Francis's journey challenges this notion, showing us that passion and dedication can break down even the most imposing barriers. His victory is a beacon of hope for dreamers everywhere, a reminder that the pursuit of one's passions is not just worthwhile but essential. At its core, The Greatest Game Ever Played is more than just a sports movie. It's a story about resilience, friendship, and the unbreakable human spirit. The performances are heartfelt, the direction is inspired, and the narrative is as rich in emotion as it is in tension. From the heartwarming humor of Eddie to the quiet strength of Mary and the internal struggles of Francis and Harry, every character adds a layer of depth that makes the film resonate long after the credits roll. This is a film that will leave you inspired, uplifted, and maybe even a little teary-eyed. It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest victories aren't just about winning, but about overcoming the odds and proving to the world and yourself that you're capable of greatness. The Greatest Game Ever Played isn't just about golf. It's about life, and it's a story that deserves to be celebrated.